You're listening to the Becoming More Me podcast with me, Theresa Lear Levine. You're already enough. But if you're anything like me, you thrive when you're stretching and developing yourself, creating more of the person you feel called to be. This podcast is here to inspire and support you. Let's release the negative, reinforce the positive, and elevate our vibe together as we tap into our limitless potential to transform and grow. Well, hello. Goodness, I think everybody is looking for some way in this day and age that they can feel amazing and have everything align without having to put any time into it. And I'm here to help you with some really quick and easy solutions, and also to suggest that belief is not serving you. Okay. Did you know that some of the biggest earners, big CEOs, owners of huge companies and corporations, super uber successful entrepreneurs have lots of white space and downtime on their calendars? There is a reason for that. And that is because our productivity can get so much better when we take really excellent care of ourselves. Now, I'm not suggesting that you can find all of that space and time overnight or even today, but I'm living proof that it's possible as an entrepreneurial mom of four who still, dare I say, nearly every single day does some combination, not just one, some combination of hypnotherapy, EFT tapping, meditation, breath work, physical exercise, and visualization exercises. Now, did I start off doing all of those every day? No. I inched my way in, and I went from a life that was really chaotic. I mean, really chaotic, out of control, not a whole lot of emotional freedom, into one that, while it is very full and very busy, even still prioritizes my own self-care, prioritizes my own need to be selfish in the highest and most helpful of ways. Because if we are not selfish, we can't take care of anybody else. And as a mom of four, I have a lot of people. Those four kids, my husband, my family, community, all sorts of people who are looking for my help and support on things. But if I do not support myself first, I will fail them all day after day after day. And that is what is happening to so many women day after day after day, is that they're not pouring into their own cup first, or they have no idea how to do it in a way that's actually effective and gets them results that allow them to show up differently. And there's this recurring Groundhog Day of unwanted events and circumstances and reactions that keep happening. So today I want to talk about how we can get a little bit more freedom, emotional freedom especially, into our day with things that take 5 minutes or less. Okay. And I think that's really important because when you are coming from that busy, chaotic place where you literally don't feel like there is a minute that you can spare or anything more that you can cram into your crazy day, you need things to start with that are basic. And I truly believe that as you start with those things, you begin to expand. And so does your time. So does your worthiness to spend that time on yourself. There is this beautiful ripple effect of things that happen and things that you begin to allow that perhaps at this time you are more closed off to, more resistant to, and less available for. Okay? So believe it or not, this has almost everything to do with shifting yourself from the inside than it does the world rearranging itself so that you have time in your schedule. That will happen as a result of you prioritizing yourself. Okay. It's kind of the whole if you build it, they will come philosophy, in that if you begin to believe, if you begin to make space, if you begin to see the end that you want, the result that you want, then you will begin to vibrate at the frequency of that which you want to create, and it will have no option but to materialize. And I know that sounds like a bunch of woo-woo crap, and I get it, but it's not. It's science, guys. This is the law of attraction. And the methods that I use, be it law of attraction or EFT tapping or hypnosis or visualization or meditation, these are scientifically proven to make a crazy difference in your life. So just lean in with me and we will explore a little bit about how you can get more emotional freedom, joy, calm, peace, clarity, confidence into your life without it eating away at the time that you already feel like you don't have. Feelings of time scarcity are some of the worst and some of the best things for you to dig into resolving and eliminating from the get-go. So my whole purpose is to empower professional women who are overwhelmed with responsibilities to be able to harness that clarity and intuition and inner peace so that they can productively advance their business and their family in alignment with their values. Okay. And I do that through the lens of being an EFT practitioner and hypnotherapist. And I use the power of those things in modern psychology to get astounding results for my clients. But I got to tell you that it was not all that long ago that my own, like I said, it was really chaotic. I was in overwhelm much of the time, really stressed out, just cortisol and adrenaline spiking so much throughout the day. And I really yearned to feel inner peace. And instead, I felt like I was getting everything that wasn't that. And then, with law of attraction in mind, I kept attracting more of everything that wasn't that. And there was this feeling that things were missing, things were scarce, all of these disempowering feelings. And with that, so much pain, moodiness, grumpiness, reactivity. And I didn't realize that emotional freedom was what I really needed, that I was so much a slave to those feelings. And I didn't know how to relieve them or release them, or I didn't even know that they were energetic blockages. So this isn't stuff that, unfortunately, it's not stuff that we're taught in school. I personally believe this stuff should be taught beginning in preschool because, man, what a difference that would make in our whole ripple effect, right? But it's not. So it took me until I was in my late 30s before I realized all of this and was able to begin making huge shifts in my life, huge changes. And understanding how to learn and grow from our feelings as well as manage them is so key for us attaining any kind of freedom, especially emotional freedom. And with EFT tapping, for example, that allows us to be less reactive and more logical as we work through things. And who doesn't want that, right? So the processes that I use and teach and coach with are very intuitive. And yet so many people don't ever really tap into them or understand that these things are really easy for them to use to make a huge difference in their life. So I put together some different things, including kind of this quiz that we can walk through here. And, if those of you who are listening are more visual, I'm going to give you a link that you can also download all of this and do it. Like you could print it out and do it. But if you're preferring listening to this while you're taking a walk or commuting somewhere, then I'll just go through it here also. I know we have all different kind of learners that listen to and have interest in feeling better and being more emotionally free. So I want to give you a few different formats that will serve you. I'm somebody who loves audio. And if I were doing this, I would be listening to these questions and probably writing down my answers on a note app in my phone while walking around the block. That's just kind of how I roll. But wherever you are and however this works best for you, there's multiple options. So, what I want you to do first is I want you to think about some answers to the questions that I'm about to ask, because this is the beginning of understanding how emotionally free you are. Okay. And this quiz is something that's only going to take you a few minutes. So if you're already out of time for the day, just listening to this intro, come back tomorrow, note the time that you've stopped listening, and do the quiz with me for your next 5-minute interval. This isn't about overwhelming you. This is about trying to help you get answers that really do move the needle and give you topics and ways to work with those topics that change your life. Okay. So, the first thing that we want to understand about your emotional freedom is how much of it you do or don't have on any given day, right? So, these are all going to be pretty much yes or no questions, and you can just write down your answers. And then we will kind of go over the answers and what they mean afterwards. Okay. So, the first question is, when I'm angry at somebody, I take deep breaths and I center myself, get myself together before I react. Yes or no? The next question, when I'm full of doubt, I treat myself kindly. Yes or no? The third question, here I want you to think about it maybe being stuck at a really long red light or a traffic jam or something that has majorly disrupted your schedule, like getting a call from your kid's school that you need to go pick one of them up because they're sick, and yet you had an entire day planned that did not include taking care of a sick kid. You behave patiently when things don't go along with your schedule. Yes or no? Write that one down. All right. And then after that crazy day of traffic jams and sick kiddos or unexpected wrenches thrown in plans, at the end of that day, I focus on things that I'm grateful for at the end of that crazy or hectic day. Yes or no? Here's one to think about. Sounds like a very simple statement to say yes or no to. I want you to really think about it though as you answer. I'm happy with who I am. Yes or no? The next question, think about when you're frustrated. When you're frustrated, do you think clearly? Yes or no? All right. The next question has to do with your spiritual side, your spirituality. Do you feel connected to it? Yes or no? Our next question, and feel free to pause these. If I'm not giving you enough time to think, you can just press pause. Think about it as long as you want to. I'm just trying to keep this quick and concise because I did say these were going to be short little exercises and things that you can do. This one has to do with sleep. How do you do with falling asleep? Can you just drift off to sleep unbothered? Yes or no? The next question has to do with getting present, being present in your life. Do you feel like you're present, and are you enjoying and living in the present moments of your life? Yes or no? The next question has to do with love. And that doesn't necessarily have to be romantic love. This has to do with how you feel about when your heart is broken. Okay? That could be a heart being broken by a parent, a heart being broken by a child, a heart being broken by a lover or a spouse, or even a friend. How do you feel about your ability to love again after your heart has been broken? So I guess the question would be, do you feel like you can fix a broken heart and feel free to love again? Yes or no? Next question is just in general. In general, do you think and behave logically? Yes or no? And so is our next one. Very general. So you can apply this to wherever you want to in your life. The statement that you're going to say yes or no to is, I lash out. Yes or no, I lash out. And then if we're going back to the concept of sleep and how easily we do it, or how restful our night's sleep is, do you worry about the future when you go to bed? For instance, do you worry about tomorrow, next year, or even further into the future when you're trying to fall asleep at night? Yes or no? And then kind of as an addendum to that, as far as worries or things that we get anxious or future pace about, do you make a mountain out of a molehill for no reason? Yes or no? And also with the going to bed, do you lose sleep over those worries? So if you're worrying about your future when you go to bed, or if you're not, do you lose sleep over the things that you worry about? Yes or no? Next question, or statement, rather, the next statement. I give up on compassion when someone hurts me. I give up on love when someone hurts me. Do those statements feel like a yes or a no for you? Okay, two more. I constantly compare myself to others. Yes or no? And the last question, and this is kind of a downgrade from lashing out, but it has its own energy to it. I get snippy. Yes or no? Okay. So now that I have asked all of those questions, I want you to look at your answers, and I'm going to tell you which ones indicate having emotional freedom versus not having emotional freedom. Okay, so that's where we're going to go next. So take a look at your answers. So for the first 11 statements or questions that I asked you, a yes answer indicates emotional freedom, while a no answer indicates there is a lack thereof. Okay. And then for the remaining questions, so that was what, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 questions. Sorry, I lost count. For the remaining questions, from I lash out on down, a yes answer indicates a lack of emotional freedom, and a no answer indicates emotional freedom. Okay, so take a look at where you answered no in those first 11. And then in the last questions, take a look at where you answered yes. Okay, those are the areas that you want to focus on when you're doing EFT tapping, when you're working with a therapist, when you're working with hypnosis, when you're working with any modality that is going to help you level up and get unblocked. Those are the places where you have energetic blockages that need to be resolved in order for you to feel better, feel different, resolve issues, and level up in your life. Okay? So those answers are really, really helpful for whatever it is that you're going to do to move forward in your life. Okay. And I want to give you a couple other things that you can do that are like 5-minute or less sort of things now that you have that information, right? So One of the things I love to do when I have a few minutes and I want to get some clarity around something, maybe feel a little bit better about it, or even see where I have other work to do, is to journal, otherwise known as scribing. And I love the idea of take five and scribe. So if you have a notebook that's dedicated to this, great. If you don't, get one or some kind of a space. There's so many digital places where we can take notes and we can type, but there is something about putting a pen to paper, guys, that is just so very important. So I highly recommend writing this kind of stuff in a notebook and taking that pen to paper to do it. And the things that I think are, here's some just prompts. And again, if you want to grab this resource, all of these prompts are going to be in this ebook with room for you to write. So if you don't already have a notebook or a place that you'd like to write, just print out this 5 minutes to freedom resource and you'll have places within this beautiful ebook that you can share answers. And I personally love when people who have downloaded this actually share back to me what they've discovered or what they've written. And, especially if we're going to be meeting for something like an insight call or something, it's such valuable information that can really help me provide really valuable insights into things that might make a huge difference for you. So some of the things that I like to scribe about are, and here's things that come in threes. So you could write about 3 memories that haunt you. You could write about 3 things you wish you had done differently. Maybe some things in your life that you have regrets about, or wish, gosh, if there was a do-over button, I would do it over. As well as 3 people you want to forgive and or forget. Those are some great things to write that kind of come in threes. And that's stuff from your past. Okay. We want to honor your past, your present, and your future always. So those things are great prompts to write on from your past. And again, you could just take one of those every day and, each day for 3 days and write on it for 5 minutes. That's it. You'll be surprised what comes out. And then for these next few prompts, these are about the present, and you could just spend 5 minutes a day on these, okay? On a typical day, what stresses me most? There's your writing prompt. As well as, in what ways do I sabotage myself? And when you're writing on that, think like self-doubt, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, procrastination. Like, what ways do you get in your own way? And then flipping it to something a little more positive, what am I grateful for? I know that sounds generic. We all talk about gratitude, but seriously, think about it. Think about your gratitude and what you are grateful for and express it. And if you're already somebody that does that already, then I think it actually gets so different when you actually start doing gratitude on a daily basis. I think people are afraid to start doing it on a daily basis because they're afraid they're going to run out of things. And what I think you realize when you start doing gratitude on a regular basis is how much you're really grateful for that you're overlooking because you're not doing it on a daily basis and you're only going to like the generic gratitudes. I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for the roof over my head. There's so much more than that, guys. So much more. And when you start doing it every day, and also from the perspective of I'm going to do this every day and I'm not going to repeat a thing, that's when it gets interesting. And that's when you really tap into this well of gratitude that can fuel things for you in such a new and different way. And that becomes this magnetizing force for more things that you want coming into your life. Okay. So continuing on with the present and some other prompts for you, it's great to take a few minutes and write about what is going really well for you in your life right now. Just to focus on that. A little different than gratitude, but literally what things in your life are going really well for you right now. And then on the flip side of that, because really getting to the bottom of things and feeling better requires a focus on the negative in order to feel genuinely positive, genuinely grateful, let's also write about what are you most unsatisfied with currently? What's feeling unsatisfying or unfulfilling to you in your life right now? And then flipping it to kind of where you'd like to go next. What is your highest excitement? What are the things that you are really passionate about in your life? And maybe they're things that you're not even doing right now. But if I was to tell you, hey, go follow your highest excitement, whatever's on that to do list, just forget about it. What is your highest excitement? What do you desire in your life right now? It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make money. It doesn't have to do anything or follow any rules. Just what lights you up, turns you on, tunes you in, and gets you in touch with that source energy and that high vibration. What is that? Write about it. And then from there, let's go more future based. And again, this doesn't all have to be done in one sitting. In fact, I don't recommend it in one sitting unless you just have like a whole afternoon that you want to dedicate to just scribing. Let's lean into the future a little bit, and we will do groups of threes again. What are 3 things that you would like to attract or manifest in your life? What are 3 ways you would like your life to be different? And what are 3 worries you have about your future? If you got through all of those and actually did all that writing, like major applause. And I really hope that you'll email me and tell me just what kind of revelations or aha moments you had as you did that. And then I want to invite you to download the ebook resource that I have, 5 Minutes to Freedom, because in that resource, I have a bunch, like a handful of things that are short, that I call the section of the ebook Take 5 and Tap It Out, because they are resources where you can literally just press play and follow along. One of them is about reducing your anxiety and stress hormones. One of them is about bringing peace, love, and gratitude to your day. Another one is some tapping that you can do for physical pain if you're experiencing physical pain. The 4th one is about gaining clarity in your life. So if things are feeling a little unclear, this is a great tapping round you can do to call that in and have more of it. And along those same lines, the last tapping round that's included in this resource is about trusting your intuition. I cannot tell you how important elevating that trust, tapping into that trust, and then following all those little nudges that you get from your intuition in your gut. Huge difference maker. So those are all things that, again, you don't need to sit down and do them all at once. In fact, I don't recommend that. But, for 5 days in a row, for 5 weeks in a row, 5 months in a row, whatever you want to do, pull up one of those short videos, press play on it, and see what kind of elevated consciousness you can tap into in just a few minutes. All right. I hope this was helpful for you to learn and understand the value of your emotional freedom. I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with what it means to be emotionally free. And hopefully, in doing that quiz, you were able to really pinpoint the places, and we all have some places where more emotional freedom would allow you to shift into your life in a totally different way. It would allow you to show up in your life in a totally different way, whether that's as a parent, as a spouse, as a sister, as a daughter, as a neighbor, as a coworker, as a founder of an organization, as a professional, whatever roles, and there's so many more roles than that, but that just kind of putting it out there, like when you become emotionally free, you literally show up in every one of those areas that exists in your life differently than you are right now, and for the better. So it's worth you taking 5 minutes a day. And, I'll say too, if all you got is a minute too, you can literally just tap and breathe, guys. You can, if you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you can start on the side of your hand and just take a nice inhale. And then tap through each spot. If you happen to know what's bothering you and you can just concentrate on it, great. And then with each point that you go to, take the time to inhale, hold it, exhale. Do the same thing as you progress through each of the points. So top of the head, eyebrow, side of the eye, below the eye. You want to be tapping at least 5 to 7 taps in each place. Now, if you're taking a good inhale, holding it for a second, and then exhaling, you should be tapping a lot more than that in each place. But just as a guideline, because sometimes people are like, well, how many times do I tap? How much do I tap? Does it matter which hand? Yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter which hand. Doesn't matter how long, at least 5 to 7 times. Just concentrate on whatever is feeling negative for you at that time. Tap, breathe. Tap, breathe. And if all you have is a minute, literally going through these spots that I just showed you, top of the head, eyebrow side, under the nose, under the mouth, collarbone, under the arm, and just breathe, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale, and then move to the next place. If that's all you have time for, it's like a minute. You will lower your cortisol, you will feel better, you will find an increase in your positive vibrations, and who knows what that will make space for in your day or in the next day that comes. Thanks for your interest in improving yourself and having a better life. And I appreciate your desire to get selfish and do that. Have a great day. Thanks so much for listening. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend or post on social media and tag me so I can personally connect and thank you. Until next time, keep taking bold and brave action steps towards becoming more of who you want to be in this world. You are capable, you are worthy, and you are enough. Keep shining your light.